This is Mrs. Miller and Skylar again, and we are all of us, Mayhem and Mara and little Sky here. We're snuggled up in front of the fireplace. We want to read you chapter 2 of Junie Cheater Pants. Okay, so chapter 2 is called Weekend Fun. May got back from the office. She stood at the door and waved again. I did it, everyone! I got the attendance sheet to the office just like I promised. She looked at Mr. Scary. It went very well, too, she said. There were no problems that I could not handle. Mr. Scary raised his eyes from what he was doing. Okay, well, thank you, May. You can take your seat now, please, he said. But May kept right on talking. At first, I didn't know where to put it, but then the secretary told me to put it in the wire basket, and so I followed her directions perfectly, she said. Mr. Scary pointed at her seat. Excellent, he said. Now please sit down, okay? May didn't pay any attention again. When I was in kindergarten, I got an E+ for following directions, she said. E+ is better than an excellent. The plus sign means extra, extra, excellent. Just then, Mr. Scary stood up and he took May's hand and he walked her to her seat. As soon as he went to his desk, I strained my brain for something nice to say to her because I was still happy that May left her homework out. Finally, I tapped on her arm and I smiled. Welcome back, madam, I said real friendly. May did a frown at me. What kind of crack was that, she said. It does not come natural to us, I think. Pretty soon, Mr. Scary stood up at the desk and he walked to the board and wrote these words. This weekend, one thing I did for fun was... Okay, everyone, he said. For your homework over the weekend, I asked you to complete this sentence, remember? Room 1 nodded. Good, said Mr. Scary, because this morning I'd like for each of you to read your homework paper to the class. That way we will find out what our classmates do for enjoyment. Does that sound fun? Room 1 nodded again. Even if it didn't sound fun, you still have to nod. Mr. Scary smiled. We'll go up and down each row until everyone gets a turn. He pointed at Lucille. Lucille, why don't you start us off, he said. Lucille sits in the front row by the window. Last year, me and her were bestest friends, but this year, we're just regular. Lucille stood up and fluffed herself. Then she picked up her paper and she started to read. This weekend, one thing I did for fun was my Richie Nana took me to her expensive beauty salon and both of us got manicures and pedicures. Mr. Scary looked surprised at that news. You got a pedicure, Lucille? Wow, that's pretty fancy stuff, isn't it? He said. Lucille shrugged. For some people, maybe, she said. She looked down and kept reading. Also, we each got a papaya fruit facial, and Nana got an herbal body wrap plus I got a seaweed scalp massage. Mr. Scary stood there for a second. Then he nodded very slowly. Alrighty then, he said. After that, he pointed to Camille. Camille is the sister of Chenille, who those two are twins. Camille stood up. This weekend, Chenille and I made a puppet theater out of a cardboard box, and we put on a show for our little brother Neil. Mr. Scary beamed at that news. Oh, that's great, girls, he said. I bet doing a puppet show for your brother was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Not really, said Camille. Neil kept on grabbing the puppets out of our hands, and he made them kill each other. We don't like Neil, said Chenille. Neil is annoying, said Camille. Mr. Scary just stood there some more, and then he finally moved on to Roger. Roger was the best one so far. This weekend, one thing I did for fun was I went to get pizza with my dad, and I ate the whole entire anchovy. And I did not throw up until I was almost home. Room 1 clapped and clapped for that amazing story. Mr. Scary was right. It was fun to learn what our classmates did on the weekend. I couldn't wait for it to be my turn because I love to talk in front of the class. Of course, plus all I had to do was to tell about my weekend and Mr. Scary would think that I did my homework. I put my paper I copied from May into my desk. I didn't need it after all, cause what do you know, today I lucked out. Uh-oh, the end. What do you think's gonna happen next? Do you think he's gonna find out and she's gonna get in trouble? Uh-oh, I hope not. But find out tomorrow what happens to Junie B in chapter 3, which is called Twitching. Okay? We will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.